Hello and welcome to our presentation on dissertation writing. This presentation is aimed at students who are writing a dissertation for an undergraduate, master's or PhD qualification. It is useful if you're at the beginning, middle or end of the writing up process and even if you have not yet started. It will examine exactly what a dissertation is and provide some practical guidance on the three key stages of dissertation writing. Get these three right and you're well on your way to producing a top piece of work. So, what is a dissertation? Many students do not have a clear idea of what they are or what their purpose is. They are often seen as a means to an end, a necessary ordeal on the path to obtaining a desired qualification. In fact, a dissertation or thesis is a description of some original research. Original research simply means research that has not been done before. This does not mean that every dissertation has to describe groundbreaking research. It simply means that that particular research problem has not been approached in that setting or using exactly that method in the past. The research must have been carried out by the student. Again, this does not mean that every dissertation starts from scratch. That would obviously be ridiculous. All research is informed by other people's work and builds on other, normally published research. Some dissertations are simply a synthesis or review of other people's research that has been published, a literature review. There are nearly always prescribed formats for dissertations. These should not be ignored. Obtain the required format from your academic department or supervisor and use it. Read it before you start and keep referring to it. At least this means you will get the basics correct. The definition of a thesis is actually an unproved statement that is put forward as a premise in an argument. In creating a dissertation, you are putting together a view or standpoint that you will be able to defend. Above all, a dissertation is written proof of a learning process. In the preparation of the dissertation, the student will have mastered a certain set of skills relating to research problem definition, hypothesis testing, methodology selection, analyses, interpretation, and drawing conclusions. The dissertation is a way of showing the marker that you can do all this and more. This section is all about the three key stages of dissertation writing, common mistakes that students make, and how to avoid them. All stages of dissertation writing can be hard, but students tend to get particularly stuck at 3 points. The first stage is when choosing a dissertation topic. Most students have free rein on this and can choose to study what they wish, provided it is related to the field that they are studying, of course. The freedom to choose has its advantages. You don't have to study something that you hate, for example. However, it also brings with it the dreaded, I don't know what to research, dilemma. Here, you will be given some tips on how to get over that mental block. The second stage that causes difficulties is the start of the write-up. Here the research is done and stored in the form of laboratory results, calculations, interviews, notes, collections of documents, papers, etc., and the student is sat staring at a blank screen that is meant to become their thesis. Making the transition from research to writing up can be a real stumbling block, and some helpful hints on dealing with that are given here. Finally, the third stage, where you think you're all done but have read and reread your dissertation so many times you are doubting your ability to judge it properly and spot errors. Some ways of getting around this are outlined here. Choosing the dissertation topic. Passion. For some people, their dissertation topic will be obvious. There will be one particular subject or area that stood out amongst all others. This may be the very reason that you wanted to do that degree in the first place, or something new that you have discovered. For other people it's not so clear cut, so what can they do? The answer is to start reading. Go back over all your old notes, lectures, essays, tutorial sessions and folders. Put them in order ranging from the ones that you liked to the ones that you hated. Then start with the ones that you liked. Read more widely around the subject. Start with books and move on to journals. If all else fails, just do an internet search and find out about new developments in the field. It may provide the missing inspiration. Publications. Look for two key groups of publications. Firstly, look out for the highly regarded dissertations in your department. They will be in the library. Is there a method that you could adapt? Is there a research question that you could approach in a different way? Could you apply a new way of thinking to an old theory? This is not cheating. Research is always built on the findings of others. Secondly, what are the particular strengths of your academic department? Does your academic institution have a particular set of archives that people travel from miles around to see? Do they have a state-of-the-art piece of equipment that others wish they had? If so, you are in a unique position to carry out research. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. Practicalities. Don't decide to study an endangered species of African moth if you do not have the means to go to Africa. Don't plan to carry out a randomized controlled trial of a new drug if you have a budget of £200. You have to be realistic about what you can achieve. There is a lot of goodwill towards research, but it will only go so far. If you want to study school children, can you find a school that will let you? Speak to your tutor about the resources that will be made available to you and work within their constraints. Starting the write-up. Structure. Always start with the structure. Get it right from the beginning. Do not spend more than 10 seconds looking at a blank screen or sheet of paper. Write a title. It can be changed later on the first sheet. Maybe add your name. Write introduction on the second. Write literature review on the third, and follow with methods, results, discussion and conclusions. Keep the dissertation guide provided by your department by your side at all times. Keep referring to it and check that you are inserting text in the correct sections. If you're not sure, just ask for help. Subheadings. These are an excellent method of organising your thoughts and your writing. You do not have to leave them all in the final dissertation. You could just use them to organise your academic argument and delete them later. They are also a great way of finding chunks of text that you want to refer to in later sections. To begin with, you can just insert your ideas as bullet points and write it out in full with references later. Sanity. Writing a dissertation is hard work and it can feel like it's driving you insane. Try to avoid this by starting the write-up early. This allows you to tackle it in manageable chunks. If you're tearing your hair out on one section, then move to another. If you really can't do any writing at all, work on something else like graphs, tables, illustrations, or check your list of references. If all else fails, walk away and do some background reading or get some fresh air. Producing the completed thesis. Polish. A completed dissertation should be a polished dissertation. This means that it has been edited to ensure that the style and format are consistent, that the academic argument is structured and flows correctly, that the sentences are not overlong or complex, and that the whole document is correctly referenced. If you are going to edit your dissertation yourself, you should leave some time between writing it and looking at it again. This makes it easier to be objective and to spot errors. You can also use an academic editing service to do this for you. Proofread. Examiners can get irritated by even the most brilliant dissertations if they are peppered with spelling, grammar and punctuation mistakes. It can make them difficult to read and indicates a lack of care and attention to detail. The last thing you want to do is to irritate an examiner. If spelling, punctuation and grammar are not your strong point, then maybe you should consider using a professional academic proofreading service. Print. Finally, after all the months or years of research and writing, you will be at the stage where you can print your dissertation. Don't forget to make several backup copies in case something goes wrong with the printing process, and always double check the final printed product yourself. Finally, remember that no one writes a dissertation from beginning to end and loves every minute of it. The downside of dissertation writing is that it will feel frustrating and overwhelming at times. Writing a dissertation is hard work. Writing a good dissertation is very hard work. On the plus side, the experience can also be extremely rewarding and fulfilling. You will learn new skills, and the process of researching and sharing your findings can open up all sorts of new opportunities for you. Good luck with writing your dissertation.